Alrighty. So welcome to CS Breeding. Anybody that's still a little confused about the system of doing this, yeah, I'll just teach you how to do it if you need assistance with it. Or if you guys have questions, you can also say, put something in like comments or whatnot. But the way to get some of your CS items that are going to be here in the shop might not be the same for all the items across the cluster, but most of them are being fixed right now. Um, you have your CS propagator, and then you'll have your CS hatchery in here as well. Um, One of the other things you want to acquire is a CS mutator. You can acquire that from your, if you make any CS replicators. To make your CS replicators, you're going to need smithy, fabricator, and then you can make the replicators. You might be able to make them out of other things, but you'll generally always find this on here. Yeah, you'll have your mutator, and then also there's a transmutator, which will enable you to swap your normal creatures into aberrant versions. Those aberrant dinos have a 8% higher melee. So if you're going to do generally any melee build, probably switching to aberrant. If there's an aberrant version of a dino, it'd probably be good swapping to it. Some of the new ones I don't have variants, but like some of the oldies will, yeah, they definitely would. Settings. So on your propagators, let me get a dino pair to breed with. I think I have these disorganized at the moment. Let's say you're the one. No, it's this one. Magmas, so I'm going for a health stat, and then also you'll also want melee. Um, Here are your options. Holding eggs, I'm not sure what that actually means, but it'd probably drop eggs out of the inventory. But you'll just want it to have hold eggs, and then you want them to be sent to that hatchery. If you don't want them sent to the hatchery, they'll just populate in this inventory for pressing this button. So you'll just see all the eggs populating just in here if that's the way you want to do it. But usually I'll send them to hatchery, and then your hatchery will be over here. You'll just activate it, and any eggs that are done by your propagators will populate in here, and it will auto incubate at least to 1%. Don't worry about the ignore or destroy list because you can't put anything else but eggs in here, so these don't even matter. And then whenever dinos you get or see in here with the mutations you want, you'll just throw an egg incubator. But our options for the propagator is to go to start breeding. So this is the list you'll see. If you're only working with a female breeder, you'll just So say it says female, you'll just swap this to a male, and it will cost one element over here. Every dino, every dino it does a breed with, it does cost an additional element. So if you're doing mutations, or even if you're not doing mutations, you're just trying to get eggs to hatch, um, it will cost one per egg they hatch. So if you're doing mutations, and this were a female, this it costs like overall three element per egg. So you'll just want to make sure you have enough element to keep it running for however many eggs you want to hatch. But since I have a male, you don't have to worry about that. But you don't need male or female, and you could breed just about any variant of dino, even golems. Um, Now with golems, um, you can assign them a gender with your mutators. I don't want to do it because so many dinos are nearby, but I can move this. Let's check your range. And then we'll just get you close enough to do it. And I'll get assigned it a gender. So, your mutator. There are a few options you have on this thing. If you want to do just taming or breeding out in the open, this is definitely useful for you. So the mutator, you'll want two of these things, and every time you do a mutation pulse, will activate 2 random mutations in your dinos. It's not going to be, it could be 2 different stats with these ones though. I think, or maybe it'll just be both, but yeah, you'll get 2 stats to mutate in. That's 4 points, whatever thing it gets put into. And then you have another mode. This can swap genders, male to female, specific. If you go to this one, any genderless dino, say golems, griffins, whatnot, this will give them a new gender. Yeah, it doesn't affect mechs, so yeah, no breeding with mechs, boys. I'll activate this, and this should assign the golem a gender. So this one is now a female. So if I were... I think it's only temporary that it'll actually be female, though. So however long that thing... let's check buffs. That'll be it'll be these for at least that long amount of time. Which I think is 6 hours. Yeah. I think if you cryo it up, it will remove it. No, let's say female. So then that's when you can actually put this in something like a cloner or your modules to get more of it. So I'll need a second one of that, and I can just clone it. Let's make sure I have enough. That max, yeah. You only got one. Yeah, if they can't be assigned a gender, they're unbreedable. So unfortunately, you won't be able to get more of those. And they're not clonable either. Yep. Drag and drop. Let's check. Oh, a little more expensive than that. Oh, and no, it won't let me do that. Alright, that should clone, and it'll be done in 14 minutes. 15, actually. Alright, now back to breeding. Actually, no, I'll show you the rest of the settings. Let's toggle through these real quick. Genderless Dino. This grants nearby dinos the ability to breed that normally cannot. Say any dinos that you... I think specifically with this one, if they're on cooldown, this will just eliminate that. Or this would matter in certain scenarios. But I believe this will just reset your any timer you have for it. But it'll cost every time you use this will cost 10 element. Imprint qualities. For however long you have the range, this will just give you a free, or this will just imprint any dinos that are. When you activate this, will just imprint any dinos and give it like a imprint quality. So if you're lacking a little bit in your imprint, might as well use this to finish them off. Stop nearby dinos from aging. If you like, I don't know, if it's your thing to freeze their growth rate, yeah, I guess this will be for you. I wouldn't do it because why would you want to have baby dinos? This one you'll want to use anytime you're just generally in hatching. So I'll leave this right here. So we'll start breeding. Set this option. So 1, if you set this to 1, they'll only gain 2 in any random stat, or 2 levels in any random stat. If you set this to 2, it'll give you 4 random levels in any stat. So start breeding. Any eggs will get sent to the hatchery. And if you want to view the progress, you can from here. It'll tell you how long it takes for each of them to reset. It will be random. But you can also see them, say, mating or recovering, and you can know when, like, one of them's currently going. See, now they're all recovering, so the eggs would be sent to the hatchery. I'm looking for a 192 stat. Doesn't matter if they're all female, you can still keep going. I was lucky enough to get 2. We can start with a female. Throw the egg in here. Any other eggs, I usually try and I just trash them, to be honest. Because I only want to have actually good lines. Or keep progressing just the lines. Okay, there we go. So I have a incinerator. Be careful with this thing because it will delete everything you put in it. And don't think you can grab things out once you place in. It's a little too quick. So if you make that accident, yeah, you'll lose everything that you put in it. So just be careful when you're doing that. Make sure you're only selecting your specific items by typing in the search bar. Another thing you can do if your inventory is just empty, throw your element right here if you're just using it. But we can see our mutations for the Magmasaur. We're at 267. The old way the arc used to be is you can only go up to your 254 stat total, but now it's a little different. As long as the mutation total isn't past 255, then it won't. There won't be an issue. So you can have whatever wild stat you want, as long as your mutation doesn't go over the limit. So let's hatch this one up. I'm going to assign this female 192 health. This is generally going to help you with just identifying your data. You can still check the stats that you have. But it won't really be an issue. But yeah, I'll assign this. Basically, it's mutation health stat. If you also work in melee, I'd say 83 melee. Make it quick, simple, so you can identify where your stats are. So officially, I have like 0 mutations in melee, so I could do that. You can either do the subtotal of its stat or the mutation total. So I go to the boost growth on these. You activate that while they're in range. Whether you'll stop. Okay. And this will be the icon for the instant growth, so you'll see it grow rapidly. Whenever it does. Usually I like to run quite a few of these propagators, judging from how many I have. Sometimes I can run full 8, but it is very hard to manage it all. Because you'll have like tons of eggs going to your hatchery. And then anytime you're actually done breeding, go up to here, take out your breeder. And that's just a quick way to stop it and prevent you from losing cooldown for a few of your dinos. And then I'd always like store it away in one of these fridges whenever I'm done with the line. So yeah, these are the ones I actually have completed. I'm done with. So I tend to throw some of these out. You don't have to. It just helps with my organization just by getting rid of like lines that aren't important. So this is my new dump one. If anyone's in here, I'd start deleting. You're full grown. You just cryo it up. Throw your female in. I like to do your breeders, separate it by element, makes it easier for you to identify. And then you'll just swap this to a male. They're all on cooldown, but it doesn't matter. And still start breeding, and whenever one of them's ready, they'll start breeding eggs. Additionally, this is generally one of the tame strats or breeding strats. Just focus one singular stat on a dino. What you can also do, so if I pull my Rexes out, I kind of just mutate them to the old health stat, but I can keep going for mutations. So I got 36 points into melee, 156 in health, and I could just generally progress this wherever I put. female set should be here. I prefer to just use like 8. You could use more, you could use less, it really doesn't matter. So there's only a specific amount of stats that these things can actually go into, which is just 7. Generally can cover most of your stats, but sometimes it doesn't always give you the one mutation you want, so you can, if you want, you can just up the count you have for them. So, regarding this one, so yeah, anytime I see either melee or health get picked out, this is your second team strat. You can work any of the stats that you want. So yeah, for Rex, I wouldn't use anything but health and melee. So I wouldn't bother with any other stat with these guys. Yeah, generally, yeah, I'll pick out with what health or anything that shows up in the hatchery. Oh, so I have this, yeah, I have this, good way to show this, but yeah, if you have just something in here, so yeah, see, here's one with just melee and then also the health. You can choose either one you want to start with first, but I'm just going to continue with capping health at the moment. But you can choose both stats that you want to just main in. But yeah, Stego's little indicator whether this guy's active is he'll be flapping or whatever. And you could, that's usually, you can tell when there's eggs in that terminal. So, since he's already bred me a line I want, take him out, throw him away, put him away. Out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, happy medium, I'd say, for if you're running these things. I mean, it gets expensive to make these. I wouldn't make them personally. I'd just buy them from shop. See, just making these from a replicator itself would cost you like probably 200,000 ingots. So if your server doesn't have this, if it's not on Aberration yet, or if it's not on Island yet, come to Center, AFK here, and then you'll have enough points to just to buy that stuff outright. If there's anything different in shops, I just go AFK on the map until it's fixed. Yeah, since my steg is already maxed out, I don't actually have the best wild stat. Somebody I think has a 97 or 92, something like that. You can just generally keep looking for better wild stats. I don't know if you can just simply swap the mutations over. I'm pretty sure you might be able to. So if you just find a better one, you could just roll the mutations over to the new one. And just have a generally higher dino stat. These propagators are really nice for that. It'll keep any mutation previously and you don't get the error. As long as you're just breeding with 0/0 females, you're not going to stack like a egregious amount of mutations. So I've mutated this at least 65 times. But you can still like double breed if your females are mutated. That's still fine. And another breed strat is you can work the two stats separately and then breed them together. It's just more preferred that you just work on them whenever you get them. So let's hatch the Rex here. So I'll say 160 health. Honestly, you don't need to assign a gender since it doesn't matter within the terminal. So 160, 36 melee. Mutate him with Growth Pulse. Not always going to be instant, but it'll be pretty quick. Let's explore the other settings. I don't think there's another. Yeah, there's no other mode other than that one. But for your mutators, you can show your range. You can extend the range. If you're gonna do anything other besides imprint or growth, be careful what you're doing with your dinos outside. So if they're outside the barrier, you might accidentally change their gender or whatnot, so just be careful what's within the barrier. If you need to adjust it, you can just change your range. It's like -5 back. And yeah, it's just generally smaller, but I keep them a respectable range, at least within that I can reach my incubators. So I don't have to move them as much. So, just like that, throw the down right back in, and we start all over. Are you active? What's taking you so long? But that generally covers the breeding, at least on the outside ones. Outside ones, you're basically just going to use these guys to do your breeding. You'll want at least a couple of these. If you're doing them outside, you're going to need more than just these three. One of the other items you could use in that regard, if you're going to do outside breeding, you don't have to use just this hatchery. There is a Arcomatic egg collector. These things are very handy if you're doing that, because this can hold at least 500 eggs, and it will auto-incubate as well. It won't tell you the stats though. So any dinos that you actually have in here, it won't actually tell you, because this is not a CS variant item. Anytime you use a CS item, it will tell you exactly what their stat is. Otherwise, you'll just have to put it in a egg incubator, and you can just find out that way. That, or whenever you hatch, you could use your amazing scope to just tell what stats they are. But yeah, generally that should cover everything. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'm on Discord, or you can throw us a comment on just this video. But take care.